What is up? What is up? Welcome back, e-boys, e-girls. This is Eden. Today we have with us Thinking Vols, aka Marty, or Marty, aka Thinking Vols, depending on where you know him from. Marty, what's going on?
What's going on, man? How are we?
Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. I'm doing good, man. It's warm here, it's sunny out. Um, had some contractors over to come look at the old bathroom that I want to demo and replace. It's a good morning. Outside of the markets, Jesus, I woke up and looked at the price. Every day, wake up, check price. Not good
Bad
price.
price, bad price. What were you hearing on the FOMC? You told me something backstage. The new
Oh.
idea, the new theory.
What was funny was, yesterday was the event was or the non-event happened, the FOMC non-event. But today I was reading things and hearing that people are saying that because rates didn't change, that's showing strength in the dollar, which is, negatively affecting crypto price. I've never known that to be the case. Maybe this is a new meta. Maybe, maybe stagnating rates is bad for crypto price. Gonna have to change my trading style a bit here.
Yeah, breakout traders, got totally screwed. It was just like a whipsaw, like every time, up, down, couple $100. But yeah, this is extending out downwards, right? I'm looking at the vols right now. I'm just pulling it up. I got the fucking maintenance guy here working on the gas pipe or something. Not a good time. Oh, vols are flat. ETH actually picked up. Bitcoin is dead. But fuck, Jesus Christ. Like tomorrow's expiry 36% on Bitcoin. ETH is 41. So it's interesting to see that ETH is up and Bitcoin is not. Maybe there's some ETH specific news I missed.
24-hour option volume though, we still got 1700, although end of October being the most bought. It's a little bit of hopium for you boltards. 17,
Yeah, you
1750s.
had October and you had December get picked up. And then yesterday you had a bunch of June calls lifted, like some mega calls, 60K, 85K, 45K. The people that were trading those, one of them being Tony at Pelion Cap
Oh,
on
you
the
you
Twitter.
you found out who was trading those.
Yeah, it was him and somebody else.
Do you
And
talk
they
to him?
and
What
they
his
picked up.
thesis is?
No, they just bought it because it was super cheap. He actually made a post about it, but the Vols picked up like I don't know three handles or something. So he made money when you pick up 1,000
Yeah,
lots. But it's yeah, it was an odd trade for sure. Maybe it was just a mispricing.
possibly.
Yeah, that was rough.
That was a mispricing. That's a big fat finger on their part.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
1,000 contracts at the 65K. So it looks like it went from 0.03 to 0.0420, of course, Bitcoin, and then it fell off the handle and went to 0.0355 Bitcoin, right? So this is on the June 65K calls of next year. So I mean, yeah, fuck, like, oh, you're playing it for zero point zero 0.01 Bitcoin. Yeah, but if you have 1,000 contracts, it makes sense, right?
is Marty about to open up the short vol shop again?
I can't. I'm working on something new and oh man, it's just like we could stay muted longer forever, right? We can be in this 30, let's just use devol 30. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but we
Yeah,
could stay in this 30, 50 devol handle for longer than people can stay solvent and price can do whatever, right? We're not trading um the price, right? We're trading the vols.
I can stay autistic for far longer than it can stay in that range.
For yeah, far longer than most. Far longer than most.
What's going on with Binance? There's always rumors going on with Binance, but I saw that they're engaging with European Banking Authority regarding the MiCA regulation, focus on potential grace periods for stablecoin operators applying for EMI licenses. But then this morning, people are like, you should check gas prices. And I see all these posts about Binance doing some funky stuff on chain, like moving like, I don't know, it was like tens of thousands of transactions for like $70 and fees are like $8, $9 a transaction. I don't know what's going on.
It
I
was
like
like
to just
500K total or something insane, something weird, right?
four.
Four hundred
No. I'm
thousand dollars.
just saying
Oh,
four.
four. Oh, four.
Four for
Yeah.
FUD.
No, I don't know. A little insight, right? We sat across the table from one of Binance's international lawyers, and they let it slip that like they're never gonna get a license in this jurisdiction. And the look on their face was like, yeah, it's not looking good. And I don't know if that means, of course, they could be 100% solvent and everything, right? But maybe like the US is saying at times they weren't, or the auditor at times they weren't, or at times they were moving money or moving it to their prop desk or whatever at times, but that doesn't mean that the whole exchange is going to zero tomorrow, right?
Does that really matter in the big scheme of things if at times in the past that they were? Because if we look at like Tether's long history and
Tether at times.
scandal,
Yeah.
yeah, there are plenty of times in the past. Like I've been very vocal about in the past, especially like the 2017-ish era. There were a lot of strange things going on with Tether and Phoenix, and I was a bit more worried at that time when they started getting brought up again in this cycle after they had already kind of beaten the case, you could say.
Yeah.
Um, they were far more well capitalized and in a position to where I always bet like with them. I don't ever bet against them anymore. Anytime Tether loses peg, I'm pretty vocal about it. Not financial advice, obviously. I'm just an internet cat, but
Sure, sure.
I'm pretty vocal that it's pretty much free money. Um, and same with like
Especially if you have a redemption account, right? If you have the redemption account, then no problem. Go ahead and pick up that, pennies off the ground every time. It's free money. But the issue is the fucking people fudding don't have a redemption account, right? They
yeah,
have, I think redemption's 100K clips or something. So if you don't have a redemption account, then you're sitting there like, oh my God, I'm down 8 cents or I don't know, whatever it is, right? And then people seem to forget they have this short-term memory. Like, what about USDC that was, like, in the 80 cents, right?
it's the same
That was,
thing.
like it's the same thing.
I was tweeting all about it. Like we're really gonna run this back again. Like you're really gonna give us, just a free whatever it was, like 12, 13% or something. Like it happened with Die before when it happened with Die in like 2018 or so. That one was a little bit more scary. but
Yeah, yeah.
but even now, like I'm those three when things have happened this past cycle, it's been uh, it has seemed as if it was just kind of a handout of free funds for people that wanted to take it.
Yeah, and if you have the redemption account, then who cares, right? If you can well, I guess it has to be Monday to Friday, right? The issue is when it happens on a fucking weekend, and
Well,
then people
USDC was the
are
funnier
screwed.
one, right? Because like their their books are public, so you knew like worst case scenario, you were still getting back like 94 cents on the dollar, I think, or 96 cents on the dollar,
Yeah, and
and
the
people were selling
FDIC
it down
could
even
come up
more.
and yeah, and FDIC can come in and swoop in, right? So
Yeah, so even like for the people who uh didn't have or weren't KYC, weren't able to redeem or mint, directly through Circle. Those people still knowing, okay, it's under like 94 or 96 cents, whatever it was. Uh, at the very least, on a long enough time frame, I'm getting back that amount. Yet we still saw people sell beneath there.
Yeah, I remember I was just talking shit, right? Like it's so fun just to like go in on, put fuel to the fire and just talk major crap about it. The issue was that it went over the weekend, right? So then they had no idea, and people were just trying to exit as fast as they can.
Banks are
Um,
closed.
yeah, banks are closed, so that people were just freaking out, right? And there was different ones where you could swap for a better price, or yeah, a lot of people made a lot of money there for sure. And it's not like, Alameda's around, right? Or else they would have swooped it all up, or just like the Tether, right? So, yeah, like, what does Tether have? 80 billion now? It's like, okay, in the past, maybe there was some issues and they settled that, but go look at every company that's, starting super small and then now has 80 billion to cover. I talk about this sometimes, like, imagine FTX was around for, like, 1 more year and they actually, like, turned it around, and they stopped giving Alameda money and they actually just kept in profits and they just, stopped trying to fucking expand or buy his parents' houses or whatever the fuck they were doing. They probably could have been all right, right? They could have been 100% solvent. They could have figured it out. The hole was like what, 10 billion? Like
Yeah, but they're like
at some
the
point,
wrong kind of people. You look at,
yeah,
you
they didn't
start looking
want
through
to.
the not even it's not even like a not want to. It's that they were the type of people when you look at like the when you start looking at the filings and stuff and some of the conversations that were had, you can see that his family are truly like career like politicians where they're like the crooked like cronies where they saw it as an opportunity to have a way to just like get free money and funnel money to the things that they wanted to. So like the idea of running like a successful exchange for a long period of time, I don't think was in like any of their minds in the SBF family circle. Maybe the other people being brought on, who were blind to the fact that money was being siphoned out the way that it was. But you can clearly see that like the Bankman Frieds at least were looking at this as just like a way to exploit additional capital from some system that you know dark pools of money was able to get them money to or get them funds through.
Well, I'm gonna tell your mom if I don't get $1 million a year, right? Like, come on, guys. Like, that's what you were emailing and texting and like, oh fuck, just a bunch of scumbags, right? And the dad was a law teacher at Stanford and shit like this. Like, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was getting into, and I hope that they go down with him at some level too, right?
We'll see. We'll see how strong their connections are. Um, I
Yeah, I don't know if
this
they
is
do
one.
time. I don't know if they do time, but they have to give up everything and maybe I don't think they turn on their son. That would be the fucking plot twist, right? Could write a movie about that.
It's more when you compare this type of financial catastrophe to ones in the past. When you think of FTX as a company or corporation, and you look at the other ones in the past that have fallen, like your Enrons and stuff like that, like FTX, takes the cake by a landslide in amount of money that was lost and people affected. And I feel like they may get off like the lightest of everything, like the amount of money and like the connections these people have seems to be a bit different. A bit deeper.
Built different, right? No,
Built
they're not going to
different.
do time. Yeah, they're not going to do time, but at least surrender everything. And yeah, I don't know. I hope they lose everything. Like, unlike BitBoy, right? That guy fucking still has money and he's just scamming at this point.
Yeah, the BitBoy thing is funny. For those that don't know, BitBoy was kicked out of his own company, BitBoy Crypto, by the other founding members or shareholders. Um, and the media company has now frozen some of his assets. It appears that they have taken ownership of a car of his Lamborghini. So he has come to Twitter to ask for donations. He raised over 100 grand. But the ironic thing is that when there were smaller content creators that were being critical of him and were making videos about things that he was doing, he filed a lawsuit, and his only goal was to kind of drain these people of their funds and their money and their time. So now it's happening to him, and he doesn't feel too good about it. And when he was doing it to the smaller streamers, as soon as they got public support and they raised some money to where they would be able to kind of go to bat for themselves and take on Pitboy, he dropped the case. He was like, okay, they have money now. I'm gonna drop the case because his only
What a
intention was to
mess.
kind of run them dry. So yeah, he's a total like scumbag. Um, I don't know why anyone would send that guy money, especially after his long career of
Relapsing on steroids and diet pills.
I don't want to say, like, it's hard like to know whether someone is just irresponsibly stupid, like that they smell their own farts so much that they also believe the things that they're saying, or whether they're nefarious and they're doing things with like malicious intent. So I don't want to say that he is a scammer in the sense to where like he was intentionally like choosing things that were architected a certain way so he could take advantage of their low liquidity or their narrative, whatever. Because maybe they're I don't know him and he seems bit odd, bit off. So maybe there's some plausible
Yeah.
deniability to that side of it, but nonetheless, like I've never really vibe with that guy. He's not cozy at all. Um,
Definitely not
and
cozy.
yeah, like I just feel like people that kind of let their that look at, okay, I've built this platform, I have all these subscribers on YouTube, so that makes me somebody. I always hate those kinds of people. So
Yeah, but
he's never
how
rubbed me
how do
the right
you
way.
how do you structure that so bad that you get voted out of your own streaming thing, right? Like whoever runs the show behind the scenes, like we all thought it was him, right? We didn't think it was
I definitely thought it was
a group.
I thought it was a a sole ownership, right? Like that he was the
Yeah.
one in charge, and then he had a team, that did things with him. It was very um I think everyone was aware that there was a team that was involved. It just wasn't that he had, divvied up ownership of the
Yeah,
company
majority
to where,
ownership.
yeah, because it was probably something evenly distributed. And what happened was the other owners most likely just said, came to an agreement that, okay, we can vote him out because we have the majority shares together. And they probably went forward with something like that. But
But I still don't understand why. I don't know. We can spend all day talking about BitBoy, but I'm still not sure why he got kicked. Diet pills and an affair. Who cares? Like,
well, he's
it's
got
his
a
life.
family. He's got a brand that I think they are trying to share or shed this light that is like aimed towards new people, and is family friendly, and uh, you know heavy focus on education and stuff like that. So when you have the poster child of that brand who is abusing
A
diet pills,
junkie.
having an
A
affair,
junkie.
yeah, who was taking steroids for a little bit, as I don't know, other co-founders, you kind of have to look at it and go, do we have an intervention or do we just fucking like axe them? And none of us really know like the inside story of what type of drama was going on between the founders, but uh, I
Maybe
would
there
I
was just
would
like a laptop, like a Hunter Biden laptop, but today it's a BitBoy laptop.
I would imagine that it was probably like a slow grind up, right? Like they probably knew about the diet pills and the steroids, and probably like we're talking to him about that, and then the affair thing comes out, and maybe he kind of alluded to it that he wasn't like being the easiest to work with, and was treating people a little bit off, and he thinks it was because of the steroid use and the pills. So he was probably being an asshole, and they were just like, we can't like work in an environment like this where we've got some, roided out fucking lunatic who's off his
Who's
rocker
fucking
and
raging every
yeah,
day.
literally raging every day. His content became like fun to watch from being extremely cringe and like you could never watch it. It became fun to watch sometimes because he embodied this like Alex Jones energy, but for shitcoins. So like it was great
So
entertainment
good.
value
So good.
when he kind of went off the deep end. But that's exactly why they probably were like, we gotta pull this in. Like we're going from this like educational first touch kind of platform to like cringe fringe um entertainment content because of the antics of like our founder. uh so that,
But how are you gonna get rid of the bit boy? Like that's him. Sad, super lame.
it is odd. I'm trying to think of other instances where that's happened where they've like straight up replaced the main character. I can't
It's
imagine.
like Michael Jordan. Okay, now we have Scottie Pippen, but we're still gonna call it Michael Jordan. You're like, what the fuck is going on?
It'd be like The Simpsons, like replacing Bart or Homer.
Yeah,
It'd
yeah,
be
with
like
Mo or something. Yeah, you're like, what is going on here?
yeah. I'm not sure what the angle is. They should change the name from BitBoy Crypto if they're gonna do that.
Bitman, Bitman.
Yeah, he became Bitman, I heard.
Oh fuck. Well,
uh,
what else is new? Talk to me, cozy. What's happening?
we saw some friendtech FUD. We talk about friendtech a lot on the stream, mainly because it's the only thing really happening on base. Uh, we talked about it a bit yesterday with Denton and them that I was asking the question of, and then we'll kind of talk about the FUD. But do you think that the base right now is beholden to friendtech? And I say this because friendtech is driving like 40 something percent of the transaction volume, or at least it was like 2 days ago when I checked. Um, and when you have a single app that's doing that, you have like Aerodrome and like, that's like the Velodrome
Yeah.
equivalent on base. But a lot of the pairs that were driving volume initially were friendtech shares or keys that were wrapped and people had created pools for. Now there's other assets being traded there. But my point to them was that there's not any novel or new DeFi applications that launched on Base or are Base native that are driving a ton of interest, liquidity, or on-chain activity. So when you look at some of these other L1s, EVM compatible L2s like Optimism, Cosmos, even Solana, like you have you either have a group that has a lot of capital that has kind of chosen that as their home base. Like Optimism has the Warwick Mafia, and like
Mm-hmm.
Synthetics, Quenta, Lyra. They're on Arbitrum now too. Like Optimism was kind of their like home base to do all that stuff, and Arbitrum I feel like is kind of the like DeFi L2, like all of the newer Ethereum based DeFi protocols that were looking to take advantage of uh, the lower fees and execution speeds of like an L2, kind of deployed on Arbitrum, and a lot of the DeFi native capital and whale capital from Ethereum has gone there. And like when you had FTM, Phantom had Andre and like kind of the Andre followers and crew and builders. um, Solana, they obviously had FTX, but they had tons of other VCs that were putting money there. So they have a lot of developer debt and a lot of applications that are could still, drive activity if like the market picks up and people are still like interested in doing things there. So either way, every chain has had this kind of group that helps drive and sustain economic activity on the chain. And I don't know of one for base. So base is kind of reliant on, just organic users coming over there because it's kind of like a Fed chain, right? Like it's Coinbase's chain. So like the only the only incentive to go there is for like something new and novel. Why would I stay there outside of that? None of the other there's nowhere for me to earn yield. There's nowhere for me to trade outside of, spot dexes. Um, do you feel like it's beholden to friendtech, or do you think that like base will eventually kind of garner some native mafias that call
Oh
it
yeah, I
home?
don't know. Yeah, you have so many different, like, it's like a cult that I'm gonna say, right? Oh, I only use
Yeah.
Arbitrum, I only use FTM, I only use this, right?
It's a
And I
nation
get,
state theory that I have.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
like people choose a place that they call home, and then like if something new comes out, they'll go on vacation to another nation, and they'll play with the new shiny thing, go to the new casino. Maybe they win some, maybe they lose some, but eventually they bring their chips, they cash them out, and they go back home.
that's kind of where I'm at with this, right? Like the Frentech thing is popping. It's going up. Everybody seems to be using it, even though it's like super buggy and weird. The issue I guess we can get into for me is like I'm not putting that on my fucking computer, right? I'm not linking that with other wallets in MetaMask. It's like a sub one, right? And I'm only going to
Yep.
use it on like a burner phone, right? And I think the issue was I don't know, I didn't really read into it, right? So
Yeah,
maybe
there's
I'm
some
the
FUD
fudder.
right now about, well, what
Yeah,
they do
maybe
is
I'm the
they
fudder.
they they use Shamir secrets to split the keys, and what someone had brought up is that, one of those keys is stored in the front end. So, someone could inject malicious code, or if they took over the front end, like they could
An
get access
update.
to one of your keys. Yeah, yeah. And I don't
Just
know,
another day in the crypto life.
yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, Balancer just had a DNS like exploit and lost $250,000. Like, um, when you use stuff like this, there's always like some sort of risk that you're taking, and like if you're, I don't know how many times like I could say this to people, but like you shouldn't be storing large amounts of capital on your mobile device anyway. I don't know of any mobile wallet, like any software wallet, to where it would be smart in any case, no matter what machine, to be storing large amounts of capital.
Yeah, I think
You
that we
should,
think about this, right? But like the regular person doesn't even think about this. Like they didn't even think about using like a fresh wallet to do the friend tech, right?
yeah, like when I
Or
travel, if I'm gonna be gone for a while, I send funds from my grid. Like I have one of those little, looks like a little
mhm.
POS system on my desk. I'll send that to my ledger, and then like I'll use my ledger on the go if I need to, and like that's probably the most like lax my security gets. I have a hot wallet that's on my phone too, and I'll like send some funds from my ledger to the hot wallet if I'm trying to like make some quick swaps. But like
Yeah,
I'm
people
not
have
one to.
hundreds of ETH on their fucking phone for this friend tech thing, and I don't know, like it's just not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
end well. And it feels a little apish for me to for people to be doing this.
yeah.
Um,
That's what I was gonna say. Like something like this is only something that people who have multi-hundred, ETH portfolios should be more worried about. And I haven't dug into it too much. I got to look at what he was going on about. I think that is kind of the basis of it, that that one of the keys is stored in the front end, and uh, but nonetheless, my point was that people shouldn't be storing large amounts of money in their on a mobile device and a mobile phone. If you are doing that, like for whatever reason, like it's kind of an in and out thing. It always has been for me. Like have a large amount of money on a hot wallet while I'm doing something real quick, and then it goes right back to the hardware wallet. Um, so I don't
Or you
know.
could just use your FDIC insured bank account and have your credit cards and all of your funds safe as they say. And, yeah,
I'm
it's like,
I'm definitely the fringe one because I have I have plenty of credit, that I could take advantage of, and um, you know, all the best credit cards that people talk about at weddings with guys that they don't know. Um,
mm-hmm,
but
the
but
weird flexes.
yeah, but I don't keep a ton of cash in my bank account because it is really hard to move cash around. Like I don't know, Marty, the last time you were in the U.S. and you went to a U.S. bank and you tried to wire, like 30 grand or something, like you have
Like a
to,
car
yeah,
down payment or something.
you have to
It's
answer for
easier
the,
to get a cashier's check and, oh, where are you going with this money? I'm literally going to buy a car down payment and I'm going to finance it, and you're going to see that financing on my credit report in about 8 hours if you fucking just wait.
yeah, like,
And they're like, okay. And I guess it depends on your banking relationship too, right? If you're always doing large transactions, no issue. But if all of a sudden you went from nothing and now you made it in crypto or your real life, your real job, or you inherited something, like if the money's new, there's a lot of loopholes and weird things you have to jump through. And if you don't know the tellers or the bank manager, like I don't know, you're pretty screwed sometimes.
oh, I lucked out
Go get
at
$10,000 cash.
my local
Tough.
Chase. I walked into the other day to go set up some things for like a new company, and they're like, yeah, just a minute. We gotta, get the manager to come out. And he comes out, and it's a guy that I've known for like the last 8 years. I had no idea
Yeah.
he started working there, and yeah, now he's the branch manager. I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. I'll definitely be coming to you in the spring, summer when I want to get a house. Uh, help me set up these
Yeah.
accounts.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing, right? Like for me, I just use my credit. Here's my Marty financial tips. Just use my credit cards. I gain points every month. I travel kind of for free or upgrade for free. And then I just pay off the credit cards every month. I'm not sure people, oh, I pay off my credit card every 2 days. Or
That's what
I'm
I
like,
do.
I don't get that shit. Yeah,
No,
really?
I
No,
do it
fuck
every
no. For
month.
what?
I pay them
Yeah,
off in
once a
full every
month.
month, and
Yeah,
I
don't
kind
carry the
of
balance.
I pay myself out crypto just like you would get paid if you were working somewhere else. Once a month, I pay myself. I convert, my Bripto to cash, and I pay off my credit cards and my the other bills that like I have that I know are going to come up. But
And
other
then you
than
do it all over again.
and then I
Like,
do it all over
yeah,
again.
that's
Yeah.
the then you
But the
pay your
thing is,
tax
like
and then there's no issue.
yeah, but I do that because just like you said, like I use my credit cards for everything. There's either, advantages to them, like, miles, points, upgrades, whatever. Um, but also like it's the opposite, and it's been for me than for most people for a long time, to where the hurdle for me is getting the cash out or getting money out of the system, and for other people it's calculating like how much money do I can I afford to take out of the system and put into crypto. um,
Mhm.
so I look
Yeah,
at
yeah,
things a little bit
you're
differently because
reversed.
I'm always looking at it like, okay, how much do I actually need to take out, or will is there money or cash that I need something for, and if not, then uh, there's more ways I could put it to work in the ecosystem that I kind of live in than in the traditional like finance world. But the thing about the money sending, and even just like withdrawing, I mean, like it's a pretty common fact that like for people that have even a semi large amount of money, we'll say even in like the low six figures, that you can't go to your local bank and like ask to withdraw that. They're not
Cash
going to have
out. No,
the funds on
never.
hand.
Never.
But the other problem is that even if they did have it to cash me out, like I have to have a good reason for them to give it to me. I can't just go in and say
Yep.
I just want it. And that is like the core issue that I have with like putting my money in the bank or putting more money than I actually need in the bank. That if I did want it for something, let's say I just wanted the cash because I'm like, I'm gonna go to this car dealership and I'm probably gonna just like give them this much cash down, or I'm gonna try to do work this deal out. I wouldn't be able to do that. It would take me like a few days probably to get the money out, and I'd have to convince them, that that's what I'm going to go do or prove that I'm going to go do that before they give it to me. And I don't have time
Yeah,
for
it's a
that shit.
mess.
Like I
Yeah, it's a
really don't.
fucking
My
mess.
time is worth more than sitting in a fucking, Mercedes dealership arguing with someone about um or sitting in a Chase sitting in a Chase bank arguing with someone about
They should just put them
getting my
next to
money
each other,
out to go to
bro. Just
Mercedes and
connected.
buy it. They should. Just
They should
in
just
the
connect Amex and Mercedes like one branch. Like, yes, we'll
I
finance
will
you
say
and you can
that
drive right
I
now.
fucking love Amex for that. Like I've run my Amex for, tens before on different items. No questions
Never
asked,
declines.
never declines,
Never.
nothing,
No.
no.
No. No, the here's the biggest rug though. The Amex Platinum in Brazil is still plastic. But it still will swipe,
Did
or
they
chip or whatever.
did you
But it is
choose the
plastic.
did you choose the Amex one with like the designs on them? The Amex Platinum that has the designs? Because
We don't even have that.
okay,
We're
see,
still second world.
in the US you have three options. You have the classic like Amex Platinum, and then right now there's two other like designs, and I'm like, who the fuck would ruin their platinum card like that? I know there's some
Yeah,
like bougie Euro
for
woman
sure.
that looked at that and was like, oh yes, please put a bunch of rainbow like slices on my card.
God.
I
It's like
can't
when
imagine.
Cash App did like, oh, you could put emojis on your Cash App card. I got an email or something. I was like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck? It's a fucking mess. Like, just a clean card. But yeah, the biggest rug is it is being plastic.
Cash App, funny story, doxed my photo to luckily like crypto people aren't very they don't really dig into things too deep or go looking
Okay,
for things
Zach, don't
unless
ping Zach.
yeah. No, I don't. It wasn't anything like I wasn't doing anything wrong. It was just that for the longest time, like I love to just try out new things. Like I'm a tinkerer at heart. So whenever Twitter adds new features, like I go and I dig into them and see what you can do. And when they set up, uh, what was it? Maybe tipping or subscribing or something like that. I'd set up mine to where you could, but I never set like an amount because like I didn't want to set it up. I just wanted to see, like how it worked and how you would set it up. And then I couldn't figure out where it was to like remove everything and I just forgot about it. So you couldn't subscribe to me and you couldn't like actually pay because I didn't set that part up, but you could click the subscribe button and I'm trying to think how he found it. Like somewhere on there was like my Cash App. So one of my fellow crypto compadres clicked on it, and on there, luckily I used a pseudonym, like an old pseudonym that someone gave me, but I had my real picture on there. So he like DM'd me. He's like, "Is that you?" And I'm like, "It could be me." And he's
No,
like,
no.
and, but then he sent the name. I'm like, "No, it's not my name. That's like an old joke from, when I was in middle school or early high school that, everyone just used to call me. Thank God like for that part, but yeah, Cash App.
So same thing when you share Spotify playlists.
Yep.
I had to nuke that because it shows your who you are, all of this stuff. So yeah, don't share a lot of shit on crypto Twitter publicly.
Yeah, I didn't care about that. That one has the same. It's like a pseudonym that looks like a name, so it'd be funny. It'd be like everyone saying like, "Oh, this is him," but like really, it's just something that people called me
Yeah,
back
the
in the
issue
day.
for me, right, is like you could get fucking kidnapped for like $1,000 here, right?
I
So it's
bring
like
that
I just
up
want to
all the
go to the
time.
fucking beach, dude. I just want to go to the beach. I want to ride my bike. I want to hang out with my wife. I don't want to be fucking worried about or looking over my shoulder like, oh, they know who I am or whatever, right? Fuck that. Like, I don't even have LinkedIn, bro. If you want to know who I am, if you don't know Marty, and if we don't already trade with you or we're not KYC'd with you, then we have references from the biggest pimps in the game, and that seems to be enough, you know? Especially when you're dealing with like Asian firms or, Europore firms that aren't that you've never traded against or never worked with before. The
Yep.
references are always good enough, of
I've
course,
talked
right?
about that often because being that we've been like pseudonymous, anonymous builders, quote unquote, for the last handful of years, people always asked us about that. Like, why are you guys pseudonymous or why are you anonymous? And I told them there's this like negative connotation that if you're hiding your identity, it's because you're a bad person. But people tend to forget, like, zooming out and looking at this from a larger lens, that the small group of people that are even mildly like successful in the industry are doing far much more well off or better off than the people that live in their communities around them. And I don't know if they're blind to reality, but people will kill you for $1,000 if depending on like where in the world you are. That's a lot of money to a lot of people. So imagine knowing that some guy who you've never met before lives less than a mile from you, and he just made $400,000 off selling monkey pictures, and he has more monkey pictures. Why would they not go and rob you? Like
Yeah, why
if you have
not?
a
Exactly.
family or if you have children, like I don't know why you would be putting out in the public that you are this person and here's my face and here's where I live and look at all the money
Or
I've
here's
made
photo
off.
of my kids. Here's photos of my wife and kids. Like, unless you're like a CEO of like, some big company and you have to be public, but like we're living in this world where, especially in the crypto world, it's like, why? Like even the other day, a big account hit me up like, oh, what's your company name? Who do you, I'm like, dude, if I'm not going to onboard with you, I'm not telling you my fucking company name. Like I play in my own little sandbox. I play in my own little bubble. If you need references and if we are going to trade against each other, then I'll KYC with you. And I have no problem showing my face like in person. I'll go to lunch with you. I'll meet your team. I'll come to your office. You can come to ours. No problem there. But yeah, it's
Yep,
without giving
same.
up
I
too
tell
much
people that all the
information.
time. Like
For
I'm
what?
happy
I'll
to
fly
meet.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah, we there was a like smaller fund that was like one of the requirements. They didn't care that online we were pseudonymous, but they wanted to meet us in person. So like I flew out to Spain last year to go meet a group of guys. Um and they're great. Yeah, I still talk with them like all the time. We'll probably, collaborate with them in some way over the next year. But
Yeah, face
and
to
yeah,
face is always best, but yeah, fuck, a video works now, especially if you're KYCing, like they get your passport, they get your address, they get, all your shit anyways. But it's like it's so funny because like even the biggest pimps in the game still call me Marty, you know?
yeah.
Like in
I
meetings
tell
and calls
everyone
on the Telegram.
to call me Cozy. My nephew started a clan called the Cozy Clan. Okay, like
See,
for our video
you.
games when I play with the little guys.
Yep.
Uh, everyone embodies the cozy culture now. So it's like
Yep.
why would I go back? Why wouldn't you want the name Cozy?
Why would you not want to live cozy? Exactly.
Oh, but yeah,
Always
I've
cozy.
exactly as you said. I've always told people like, look, I host events. Like I when we were in Paris, it was me and then like Unsheth, Vertex, and Infinity Pools, I think. So it was like me
Hmm.
and then a bunch of protocols. I'm out there. People, I'm not hard to find if you come to the places where I'm doing things publicly. But yeah, I don't go out of my way to put myself or my family in like unnecessary harm's way just because I feel like what like clout chasing or something. I don't know. I'd rather
I don't know.
stay.
People have this idea that it doesn't matter, or they don't ever think about like, oh, somebody's gonna rob me or whatever. Dude, they'll fucking rob you for your car, for your wallet.
I've
Especially here in Rio, that's a little more violent, right? They're like, give me your phone, and you're like, no, they'll fucking shoot you sometimes, Like blindado, bulletproof cars sell like fucking candy here. Like, it's so funny. It's because it's like not expensive,
I
right?
put a
Like a toy.
picture. we were at like a
Okay.
mall type area. It was an arcade in Singapore, and it was attached to the hotel I was staying at. And I took a picture of just like the like looking
The
down from where I was
facade.
sitting to let the guy who was coming to meet me know where I was at. And someone else showed up to come meet both of us because he was like, "Oh, I've been following you guys on Twitter for a while, and like, I noticed the area that you posted the picture from."
You're
So it's
like,
like,
whoa.
trust
Do
me.
you know
So
that dude that does the map thing? That guy? Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's right
yeah.
here. It's
So,
this
so
address.
like people think like, oh, that type of stuff doesn't happen, but like, no, it 100% happens. I've like done that in New York, and I was pretty surprised by like the amount of people that showed up when I just said like, hey, if you're in this area, you're building cool shit, like, come to this hotel, say you're with Cozy, and they'll let you up. And like
A
I,
hundred people showed up.
a ton of people showed up, and like we didn't plan it with them, so they weren't very happy because like the security downstairs, this bar was like on the top floor of this hotel, and they had
Yeah.
security down at the bottom of the at the front of the hotel, so that security had no idea who these people were showing up, and I had no idea who was showing up. So like, yeah, it was a mess. We
What a
came back two
fucking
days
mess.
later and took care of them, but
Yeah,
we
fuck
had we
yeah.
had a planned event there 2 days later, and made sure that they were happy
Look,
with us.
even
But
when I post photos, it's like hours later or maybe even the day before,
hmm oh
right?
yeah,
Just
you could
because
look
of
at
that.
like comments from like any time I
Just because
posted
of that
something.
shit.
When I was in like DC, I think I put a picture up from when I was looking down from like the Lincoln Memorial, and someone said like, "Oh, we were there." And I'm like, where you guys want to get like
I
lunch or something?
wasn't.
And I'm like, I'm already gone. Yeah, I'm in Virginia now.
Yeah, I'm gone. I'm at the Pentagon, bro.
I've,
Chill.
I've,
I
I've
already
learned I've
left.
learned my
I'm at
lesson.
Langley.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a mess. I gotta run here pretty soon. I got some lunch with the wife, but
No, it's good. We're about at
stay
time. I
cozy.
like to close up at the hour mark. So appreciate you stopping in. If you're not following Marty on Twitter, it's at Thinking Vols. Today is Thursday, September 21st. We do these Monday through Friday at 11 EST. The last 2 weeks have been a little bit off schedule because of travel. We were at Permissionless. DK, our co-host, or my Spectrum sitter, is at Masari right now in New York. So if anyone's out in New York right now and looking to meet with some people from the Premia team,
You could
shoot
show
me a
up at this
DM.
hotel at
Yeah.
this address at this time.
Yeah,
Tell them you're with Cozy.
I'm gonna give you his itinerary and the restaurants he'll be at for different meetings throughout the week, so you can just show up on them. No, but really, if you do want to meet up with him, shoot me a DM or shoot Eden Aesthetics a DM on Twitter, and we'll figure something out. That's it for today, pimps. See you back tomorrow. Stay cozy.
Later, later.